Hey there crafters, so my first long form video for Bitcraft has been going through some changes. I wanted to do a review for the game, but so far I'm only into the early game still, with our settlement only just now moving up close to tier 3. Now I've got many thoughts on the game so far, so instead of a review, let me mix some of those thoughts into a 10 things I'd like to see added or changed to the game, and these are going to be in no particular order. Also, these are kind of just my thoughts right now. You might think some of this is okay or maybe not. Now, I do admit that I'm accustomed to playing some games with time-saving mods, so my mind immediately goes there to try to save time, especially with mundane tasks. So let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, so my number one, this is kind of an easy one. After getting a skiff, I did notice that the clicks seem to be a little longer. So what I mean is, I use the map to traverse long spaces while I'm on the boat using the map, and with the raft, you are having to click every few meters or so. But when you're on foot, you can click further away and you will travel to that spot automatically. Now with so much open ocean, I'd still like to see further clicks with the boats. And maybe, like I said, with the larger boats, it does go larger. I just don't know yet. But the raft was pretty brutal. And I do get if that's intended, but still, I think it could be a little better. Alright, so while I'm on the subject of water and boats, trying to click through the shallow areas of the waters between land masses is kind of buggy, which kind of sucks because there's usually jackals hanging out there. So I've been attacked and even died on my boat due to you having to click so much and the boat getting stuck or not wanting to move through it. Alright, so this one I understand why they want us crafting from our carts and not necessarily the bank, but I would at least like to see the ability to craft from the stockpiles. Now, one of the biggest complaints from people with the game was the lack of WASD control, so they did actually kind of do something with that. So making people have to move more to go from bank to station to bank to NPC to turn in items just sort of adds salt to the wound if you're still clicking with just how much movement there is. Now, I think there could be some sort of compromise here, like maybe you give up space for these larger stockpiles or a special storage container, but it's got limited range to reach the stations, etc. Now, in a game where you click, 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 a few less clicks would be much appreciated. Okay, so here is one that I will not apologize for, and I can't really see anyone having an issue with this because so many times you're AFK and you get attacked, and a little sound notification would be nice. Whether that be some music or an animal sound, just something besides the silent red glowing effect that's not always super noticeable. So this is a highly personal choice here. I like bridges in games. I see two land masses close together and I want to bridge them. I would like bridges that cannot be used as walls to keep people from crossing, but as a way to allow our carts to cross small waterway gaps that could really use it. I would also like some shallow water land terraforming too, which to me goes hand in hand with this. But I could also see why that might not come because maybe it could be abused or cause disruptive issues. But then again, it might be a reason to add spice to turf wars. Alright, so honestly, this is one that I'm not really sure is in the game or not, but it doesn't seem like it. I would like to see maybe some slight increases in speed if you're a member of a settlement and using the benches, gathering just outside, etc. Maybe better crit chances. Just more of a reason for people to want to join a settlement. The money you earn off randos is pretty nice, but it would be nice just to have a little added bonus for actually joining. Alright, so this suggestion is not really a well thought out one, but just something that is starting to concern me as I've reached tier 3. Time standing at stations versus out doing something else seems to have really ramped up a lot. I'm not sure how this will feel later, but I can tell you that a game where you are stuck at a station for an hour or more can start to feel like you're not really playing a game at all, and how soon before you tire of this and just go play something else. Now, I like working for something, but then do you even feel like you're working at that point? Are buffs from food and scholar items really going to compensate enough to make this still have some sort of fun factor? How can this even be fixed? I don't mind setting items on the passive crafting benches as an option for some items, so should maybe this be expanded? Maybe it takes more time if you do that. I just feel like the times can get out of control here easily, and there should be something to alleviate that. Alright, so I don't think this game will ever have stellar combat, but I would like to see people want to use something more than just the claymore weapon. I for one went with the spear and shield, and I can say that it does not feel as survivable as the claymore, which to me needs some work. Some more clearly defined combat choices, and maybe even some support roles, or maybe even some stat increases, and something else besides just healing pots would be nice. So settlements are special. They're a way to leave your mark in the world and will distinguish players and their groups, etc. But the grind and resources, supplies, and then the codexes to upgrade are just so demoralizing that I honestly almost quit the game. I felt like it was not very well explained on how you upgrade, so after doing research and then seeing I needed to also do the Empire research, which was 20k supplies, even though my settlement was not exactly linked up to an empire, just built within the boundaries of one, because let's face it, there are not many areas where an empire is not at. But to have to put in 20k supplies was kind of a gut punch. Nope, I take that back. The true gut punch came from having to craft the codex with tier 2 items. Not that it was bad to have to craft using those tier 2 items, but it was also having to craft all of the tier 1 items again that just really kind of did me in. The cost of that tier 2 codex is just bonkers. I don't even mind needing to craft some tier 1 items to make it. I just think the quantity is way too much. I would rather see the tier 2 stuff ramp up in cost versus the tier 1, because to have to go backward to craft something you thought you had kind of moved away from a little bit, but never truly, which I get. But to have to grind so much more of the previous tier does kind of a mind game on you, and it feels like backwards progress. Games have a psychological impact on you, and going backwards is rarely rewarding or fun. This is kind of a balancing thing I feel could easily be changed and should be. Up until this, I felt like the grind has been worthwhile. Getting that first better cart and skiff was pretty amazing. Upgrading your weapons has not been bad, but this settlement thing, especially when there was no player housing yet, has really been a bummer, and like I stated earlier, almost made me quit the game. So I do fear that something coming up might be what actually makes me leave, whether that's the tier 3 or tier 4, whatever it's going to be. I just feel like there's a better way for these settlements. So this game does so much right, and has been surprising in many things it has already built in, such as a cosmetic system and even pretty decent search and sorting features when they work. But the one truly surprising feature that is missing in an MMO where you need to band together with your friends to craft some amazing settlements is a friends list. It's not exactly easy to meet up or communicate with just your friends, especially starting out, or being able to message people directly in game. Just something that feels missing that should be in the game. Alright, and that's going to be it for this video. Now, so far, I feel mostly positive about the game, which kind of matches with what Steam is saying. It has so much going for it, and I have truly enjoyed it, except for some of these things that I've mentioned. Now, not all of these are complaints or game-breaking or make me not want to play, but number 7 and 9 are particular concerns of mine, and I hope things can be balanced a little better in those regards, because as more and more features are introduced into the game, it would be very nice to spend more time out exploring and doing other things than just watching your character sitting at a bench all day. Anyway, I've been Black, and thank you for watching, and please share this so we can help get the word out and get some conversations going, whether you agree with everything on this list or not. Anyway, take it easy, crafters.